Vikings, as you can see, at 20. Welcome to Sack to the Future Showcase game for Week 15. Minnesota hosting the Seahawks. Minnesota currently the 5 seed in the playoffs, and if the playoffs began today, they would go to New Orleans. Trying to improve my playoff positioning and avoid playing my own self, I'm rooting for the Seahawks. Not likely, but hey, you never know. You'll also hear Phantom Fighter, fresh off Best Era game, now doing the Broncos and Buccaneers on his channel.
Yeah, I'm struggling against these stupid winless semi-pro teams. Whoever I have a spot defense, I think that's going to be a problem. So either swings it out for 8 yards.
Terror should be on at some point tonight.
With the Raiders.
Yep.
Against another semi-pro team.
Saints.
All kinds of semi-pro teams. Oh, Joe able to step away from our tackler.
After this, game is over. I plan to edit the rest of 64. There's a look at the playoff picture. The Bears and Giants have byes. The Cardinals and Saints have the divisions. The Vikings and Packers currently the wild cards, while the Lions, Rams, Cowboys, and somebody else are in the hunt. Somebody else. I kind of missed it. Oh yes, that's true. Van Tarkenton going over some plays with the boys. Watching that 100 greatest touchdowns, I learned a couple nicknames I did not know about for a second. It's interesting watching it now, years later. My brother and I used to watch that video 100,000 times. By the way, Stonewall, it's on YouTube if you want to check it out. 100,000 times growing up. But learning, oops, I just reset your feed to the beginning. There we go. The kick is off. Bill Butler from the 6, bringing it back. And he is going to get to the 16, or the 32. 49ers were somebody else. Oh, the 49ers. Okay, thanks, Terrace. The 49ers were somebody else. Fran Tarkenton, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Okay. Willie Gallimore was known as the Wisp. Now, I know you've only got him for a few more games before he passes away, unfortunately, but maybe you might be able to work that in. The other thing is the Vikings fullback, or second-string tailback, Tommy Wilson, when he was with the Rams in the 50s, was known as Touchdown Tommy Wilson. And he scored a few touchdowns for the Vikings. Oh, hey, well, I guess I don't pay attention. Murray Yeomans jumps off sides for the Seahawks. The former Bear, who is taking 63 off, so that's why he's allowed to be on the Seahawks. You know, I was playing the Steelers earlier in that 1970 league, and of course, we're allowing free movement, free agency, trades, whatever. Gene Mingo was kicking for the Steelers. Tommy Mason takes the handoff and picks up 3 yards. And here's a look at the Vikings starters. Tingelhoff, Bowie, Raybold, Linden, and Alderman. Your powerful offensive line. Tommy Mason and touchdown Tommy Wilson in the backfield. Ray Page, Jerry Reichow, and Paul Flatley. The backs and receivers. Bob Cousy on that last tackle. You sure it wasn't the assist that he got? Mr. NBA. Tarkenton hands it off to Tommy Mason. And he's going to be brought down in the backfield for a loss of 2. It'll be 3rd down and 4. For Sir Francis. Yeah, I was watching it with my kids, and of course, NFL lore, you know, nicknames, famous games known as whatever. I made sure to mention them to him, trying to teach him. He enjoyed it. Trying to get him into football. I don't know if he'll ever be like me, but little things. NFL films helped me out growing up, so I decided instead of trying to just, he's not at the point yet where he can sit and watch a game with me. And that's fine. I was 12 before I really, truly followed a whole season. I was 10 when I started watching. The Vikings are punting, by the way. I was 10 when I started watching, but I was 12 before I really started to get involved and follow the season start to finish. Fred Cox And even though the fair catch was called on the punt, the tackler still nails the return man. And here comes Sexy Pinata. Playing in his third to last game as a quarterback, it has been announced that he will move to safety in 1964 with, I believe, the Baltimore Ravens. The old quarterback to safety move. Pinata hands it off to Paul Horning. Good to get him back in Green Bay to let him finish his career with where he belongs. You know, it's interesting to watch those touchdowns now, like I said, because I've learned so much more about players and whatnot, and I can actually pick out defenders who are missing tackles by their numbers. I'm watching John Mackey. John Mackey just terrorized the Lions, and I see Alex Karras come to a complete stop thinking the other guys have the tackle, and Mackey runs right by him, and I'm thinking Karras must have kicked himself for that one. Chuck Lamson up to make the tackle on Willis, but Willis gets the first down. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what, though? He better have some maneuverability after that, because that was 64. Have some maneuverability, but then, of course, his fumbling probably ought to be. Cecil Fielder makes the reception, and he's gone. Seattle scores on a 67-yard touchdown from Sexy Pinata to Cecil Fielder. Fielder has a towel. Wasn't Cecil Fielder on another team earlier today? Maybe this is Prince Fielder. This might be Prince Fielder. Whoever I played last night, I believe. Bengals. Nonsense. Nonsense. Wasn't his fault. It was Duff. Must be Hillary Duff. And the extra point is good, and the Seahawks lead the Vikings 7-0. So the semi-pro teams come into play tonight on this Week 15 action. We're still in the 1 o'clock windows on my channel. This is my last 1 o'clock game. Once tomorrow I hope to do the Packers game. Terry's just got to... There we go, looking at the wild cards. The 49ers now at 7-6-1. The Rams 7-5-1. The Lions 8-5. And the Cowboys 7-6. The Rams and Cowboys go head-to-head. 49ers already won. Did they play yet? Yep. Oh, yes, that's right. They played the Falcons. And Lions, of course, play the Bears tomorrow morning. Tarkenton back to pass on first down. He's going to step up, and he throws it under, throws his man. Maybe second down. Okay, Maury Yeomans, Jacob Goodnight, Elgin Baylor, and Hans Solo, the defensive line. Hans shot first. Tom Heinshun, Bob Cousy, and Gordie Howe, the linebackers. Rocket Richard, Bobby Lashley, the Chuck Norris, and Captain America are the safeties. First of all, Bobby Lashley, the almighty. Captain America, and then you got Chuck Norris. How do you throw against them? Not to mention Rocket Richard, one of the best hockey players ever. Thomas Tarkin hands off to Mason. Mason picks up, loses a yard. Tackle is made by Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey. Kind of a weird nickname for a linebacker. Kind of a weird name for a linebacker to be called Mr. Hockey. But, hey, it is Seattle. Seattle, of course, home to no NHL team. But at one point, there was a professional hockey team in the early 1900s. I believe they were the Mets. Seattle Mets. I have to look that up to double check. Tarkenton takes the handoff. He's going to throw, overthrows his man, and Tarkenton continues to be off. He's 0 for 3. But don't worry, fans. He's a Georgia Bulldog. He's got heart. It's 4th and 11. And Sexy Pinata has the 67-yard touchdown. So Fred Cox will come on to punt. Cox with the name spelt wrong because EA Sports thinks TOX is offensive. EA Sports can suck a big one. How's that for offensive? How's that for offensive, EA Sports? You can suck a big one. Lollipop, that is. First down and 10 for the Seattle Seahawks, and here comes Sexy Pinata. I would imagine it wouldn't, yeah. There's some weird names that have come up as offensive, but yet if you do them offline, like we should have done all the offensive names, like Hennigan, Cox. We should have done them before we went to franchise mode. And Terry Frankhauser and couldn't see the Seahawks last name get into a scrum, and we're looking there at Minnesota head coach Norm Van Brocklin. Well, here's what I plan to do. I plan to use the debuts sheet on Pro Football Reference, so anybody that debuted in 65 will go in that list. Then if I get to the end of that list and I still have names to go, well, that's where I'll come up with my, Ant-Man, David Cole, Roddy Piper, Andy Bathgate, and Frank Krutzer, the offensive line. Roddy Piper was also on the Bengals. Paul Hornung, Muhammad Ali, Maury Willis, Cecil Fielder, and Al Madrid. Hello, Tears. It's going good. So, in theory, we will eventually never have to rename free agents because it will all be done through the draft. That is in theory. Now, there will be the occasional, like, you had to cut Rick Caceres a couple weeks ago. If you were a guy that you cut that never comes back, as soon as the team picked him up, you'd have to change his name. If his career was done, but Rick Caceres comes back, obviously. Yeah, Ken Griffey. Well, that's the thing. We're going to handle it the same way. I won't do the names, heights, weights, ages. You do the rating, and then we assist Terrors on the uniforms. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, you're done rating. Go ahead. No, I know, but are you done rating on for 64 other than the names I haven't done yet? Okay. Okay. Well, like I said, my plan is it's not snowing tonight, so I don't anticipate getting up at 3:30. As soon as this game is over, to go rate. If you want me rating, it'll be all arcade versions. Hall of Famers are 99s. It'll to name the rest of the Oilers, 51 through 99, and the entire Vikings team. Whatever you haven't done already. Meanwhile, the Vikings are facing a 3rd and 7 from Seattle's 46. I don't have the... I saw Scarpetto in the 70 roster, too. Tarkenton hits flatly for a first down, 22 yards. And that's Tarkenton's first reception. Gordie Howe laid a hit on him. It looked like a cross-check coming across center ice. Bam! That dislodged the puck, but not the ball. I got trying to stick with more... Oh, sorry. Seattle's got a 1st and 10. There's Minnesota. Tommy Mason on the give, and Mason's going to pick up 9. Last week he had 94 yards in the game against Detroit. That went to overtime. Gordie Howe is all over the place. Going D to D. Sorry, not a hockey announcer. Going D to D. You got to really announce that. Tarkenton gives it to Mason. Mason with a juke move. Mason fumble. The ball's up in the air and is recovered by Seattle. Guess who? Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe, comes up with a loose ball as he is playing the loose puck as he is playing the game of his life. Tommy Mason he made a juke and gets sandwiched by, it looks like Jacob Goodnight. See no evil. No, it's 82. Murray Yeomans makes the tackle. Murray Yeomans laying the wood to Tommy Mason. And Gordie Howe, yeah. Yeah, he is. Gordie Howe picks up the loose ball, and Sexy Pinata has got the ball on the 10-yard line. 1st and 10, with 2:03 to go in the first. And Seattle out 7-0. Pinata throws it over the middle to Willis. Raiders taking on the Saints, another semi-pro game. So the only human versus, or not human, the only real team versus real team action tonight will be the Giants and Eagles if John does not get overtime at the power plant. With a snowstorm, you never know. Taken down in 4. No, it's done. It's been done since about 10 a.m. But there might still be some cleanup to do. Who knows, the Adirondacks get it harder than we do. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You get paid well. This... Well, true. And Pinata misfires. It'll be 4th down. It is Cecil Fielder and Roddy Piper are both on the Seahawks and the Bengals. Do you know what? At this point, I don't care. It's week 15 of a game we're abandoning. I don't care. Okay, and Griffey gets the punt away. Butler makes the man miss. Ooh. Bill Butler gets up to the 48. So Minnesota had a good drive last time. Tommy Mason coming up with the fumble. He's got 7 carries for 16 yards. Yes, he does. They are 7-0 with 55 seconds to go in the first. The Vikings have the ball on their own 48. Tarkenton slides, takes off running and slides. He saw the imposing figure of somebody coming at him, and he ducked down. Yeah, so that's funny because this game started after your game. So it still had me with the Cardinals. That's funny. Tarkenton in the shotgun. It'd be funny if they do win 31-13. Mason gets the handoff. He's got the first down. And he's brought down by number 32, Bobby Lashley, the Dominator. With that name, I always expect something else to follow it. Billy Joe what? No. Well, I was thinking more or less 90s quarterbacks. Billy Joe Hobart, the awful former Buffalo Bill who didn't bother to study the playbook. Or Billy Joe Tolliver, the former Falcon who hit a Hail Mary pass against the 49ers. Yeah, well, apparently he did because Marv Levy cut his ass. That was Marv Levy's last year, and Jim Kelly had retired, so we were going through some growing pains in '97, and I don't forget who, I think he was playing the Patriots, and he just had an awful game, and he came out afterwards and admitted why I didn't study the playbook. And Marv Levy's like, okay, go home. Tarkenton hands out to Mason. I can tell you. What? Yes. So yeah, we had to go create him an emergency quarterback, and we went and found one. Actually found a picture too of a guy that Boston drafted in '61 but never played, named Bryant Harvard, out of Auburn. And we've got one picture without a helmet on, so we're guessing on the helmet, but he's 63. Yep. Yep. Yes. War Eagle! This week, Georgia happens to be playing Auburn, so I'll take all the shots you want at the Tigers. Out on the plains, the Georgia Bulldogs are gonna... The now number 4 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. We're gonna be taking on... Now, what I don't get about that is they're called the Tigers, but their battle cry is War Eagle? Well, because they beat more impressive teams than Alabama did. And plus, it'll all work itself out with the SEC because Georgia will have to play LSU. So only one of them two are going to make it. And if Alabama sneaks in because of that, then shame on college football for only having a 4-team playoff. But there are undefeated teams out there still that have a chance to work their way up, like Northwestern and... who's the other one? Minnesota, right? I'm sorry. Minnesota, and who's the other undefeated in the Power 5? Oregon? No. Oh, that's right. There's somebody else I want to say who's undefeated in the Power 5. But it's maybe not. Maybe they lost last week. But anyway, Minnesota could technically, by winning the Big Ten, because they would have to beat Ohio State, right? Oh, Ohio State. Well, yeah, but they're in the top 6. If Minnesota wins the Big Ten, they would have to beat Ohio State, so you would think would have a chance. Now, whereas an undefeated, I do not believe there's any undefeated group of 5 teams left. So my argument for them is null and void this year. But let's just say SMU was still undefeated. There's nothing they can do. Nothing. They go 12-0 and beat every team by 100, and they'd still be ranked like 18. Meanwhile, Minnesota has a 1st and goal, complete to Ray Page. Yeah. Yeah. Well, anybody who listens to this channel knows that Boise State is my 3rd favorite team, and it's mainly because of the blue turf, but they've kept me around by just some of the, they always seem to prove that they belong whenever they're up against the big boys, except for Georgia. Georgia's destroyed them twice. But whenever they're up against the big boys, they usually seem to prove they belong. But that's an argument for another time. Man, I was going to make my Don Cherry video, and I didn't do it. You know what I'm going to do? Let me finish this play to the goal line. And a touchdown to Gordy Smith. And the Vikings have taken the lead. I'm going to make a video while I'm doing a video. Be right back. Okay. That ain't gonna happen. No, probably will. Well, make sure you approve that trade. I'm losing that receiver. It probably will start to happen. Okay, good. 3. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what Lombardi. Barrett must have missed curfew or something. Okay. Alright. So I'm about to record a Vinny's take with the headset on. Don't worry, they won't be able to hear you guys, so you can keep talking like normal. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I earlier said I would come back with a Vinny's take, and as you can see, I'm sort of also doing a broadcast live on YouTube right now. For Sack to the Future. I want to talk about Don Cherry, the hockey great, former coach and host of Hockey Night in Canada on TSN. Did not know anything about him until I got to college. And then one of my mentors, I'll refer to as EC, is a big hockey fan, especially Canadian hockey. And he introduced me to Don Cherry. We went up to his bar for when the Sabres were playing the Senators in the playoffs back in, I want to say, 98, maybe. And we went to the Don Cherry's bar in Ottawa to watch the game. And it was a fantastic experience. And, of course, Don Cherry also has highlight videos out there. And it's just a legend in the field of hockey. Well, yesterday was Veterans Day, and he was doing his coach's corner, which is I'm missing the word, part of the intermission between the first and second period. And there he went on a rant about Veterans Day. And there's a tradition with Veterans Day to wear a poppy. It's a little red and black flower looking thing that you stick on your shirt, and it helps remember the veterans, those that have suffered and fought for our freedom. It comes from World War I. I'm getting voices in my head. Thanks, Mr. Terrors. Well, anyway, so Don Cherry was talking about how you don't see that as much anymore, and gotta be honest, you don't. I mean, it's becoming a lost art like anything else. And he went off about the fact that there are a lot of, although he never used the word immigrants, he was talking about a lot of people that come to the country, so obviously he was talking about immigrants, and they don't respect the traditions of the Canadian culture. And that's basically what he said, and he was pleading with him to just go out and spend a couple dollars to get the poppies and be a part of the tradition and honor those who fought bravely in Canada or here in America for our freedoms. Well, I don't know if something happened on Twitter or whatever Canadian version of social media is. If they have I'm sure they use Twitter and Facebook, but somebody got offended, or a group of people got offended that he had insulted immigrants, and the network immediately fired him. Boom! There's no chance to let him apologize, no chance to let him clarify his comments. Fired him. Outright. His broadcast partner has since come out and said that he supports the network decision. Of course, he's just trying to save his bacon and keep his job. So, where have we come to in America where you can have something like that? Just, you say something offensive and you can lose your job. And it's not even really offensive. He didn't come out and say immigrants. He talked about people that come into Canada, could be visitors, that don't respect the cultures. You go to any country in the land and you are expected to respect the culture, the tradition, the heritage, and not badmouth it. But all of a sudden, in these democratic countries here in the Eastern Hemisphere, it's okay to try and destroy, disrespect, and diminish the culture and the history. And that has got to stop. Now, in the last 24 hours since this has happened, Don Cherry has been offered a job through a Russian network, a Russian hockey network, to give Coach's Corner and his thoughts on games there, and he will do fine. I don't know how old he is. Hey, Google, how old is Don Cherry? He's 85 years old, so maybe he doesn't want to keep going. Maybe he'll actually retire and enjoy the fruits of his labor. I don't know. But I wish him the best. I don't think what he said was meant to be offensive. I think he's 85 years old, and you can't necessarily judge somebody who's 85 years old on the morals or beliefs of a 20-something generation that likes to refer to anything they don't like it as boomers. No matter what, whether it's Gen X or boomers themselves, because the millennials are a different breed. Anyway, so that's my take. I think it's stupid that Don Cherry got fired over that, and I agree with him. Let's remember what Veterans Day is for and remember the traditions for it. So God bless our soldiers in America and Canada and anywhere in any democratic, free, or republic nation that have fought and died or are still alive but have fought for our freedoms. So until the next time, I'm Vinny Vincent. God bless America and God bless Canada. Okay, so that Vinny's take is over. Thanks, guys, for sitting through that.
Stadium, which I was unaware of. And after two plays, Clem Daniels ran 65 yards for a touchdown, and the Raiders have a 7-yard.
So a little update here on the VinnyXWolf channel. The Vikings and Seahawks are tied at 7 with a minute to go before half. Vikings are punting. The showcase. The showcase. The highest finishing team that we're not playing. That was a Pinata throws it over to Broad, and the Seahawks call timeout. The Broncos lead the Buccaneers 14-7. Yeah, it's going Buccaneers too. So that was interesting. That Vinny's take just went out on 3 different channels live while it was being recorded. That is modern technology, folks. But if you want to see it done in the mask, you got to watch it on my channel. I'm wearing a headset while wearing the mask. Did he bite his head off? Oh, that's not Ozzy Osbourne. That's a different Osbourne. Clancy Osbourne. Yes. That was Donald Trump punting. It was huge. It was a big leap punt. Oh, a diving catch by Al Madrid gets the Seahawks down to the 15, and time is ticking with 15 seconds to go. Pinata. 8 seconds to go. Pinata throws it out of bounds. It's incomplete. 2nd down and 10. We watched that. I was talking to Phantom earlier about that 100 greatest touchdowns. They showed the Tony Dorsett run against the Vikings, and my my son was a bit of a troll. My daughter's in the room, and he goes, "Look, Lorelai, it's the Vikings." Oh, look, they're getting their butts kicked. Speaking of Vikings, 3 seconds to go, and the field goal attempt is up and good, and the Seahawks lead 10-7 as we've reached the end of the first half. Jim Marshall getting into a scrap. Oh, they are. They'll be on the Falcons next year. I see Jesus Christ is on the defensive line right next to John the Baptist. Norton Peterson, Jedi Knight, Michael Jordan, and Jim McMillan, the defensive backs. It's a hell of a secondary. If Norton Peterson intercepts it, you know what you got to do, right? You got to yell his name. Probably in disgust at that point. $60. Sure, I think that happens all the time. Because most people give him credit for it as an offensive player. That was a 99-yard drive. Well, so much. So yeah, so much for the Saints helping us out. That was a huge hole. Ken Wilhite brings the kick out to begin the second half. Seattle takes over. For what? Team rushing? Prestel just sacks Pinata. Giants hire former Phillies skipper Gabe Kapler as their next manager to replace retired Bruce Bochy. The Giants. San Francisco. Yeah. No, well. Yeah. Paul Hornung gets the carry. Oh, he's going to take up 9 yards. Third down and 1. It was more than 9. It was 13 yards. Must have been second down. Carl Kosolke on the tackle. And are leading 14-7. Tom, I think. That little Barney Rubble is a pain in the ass. He's so short as a tight end, he's all over the frickin' place. And Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, he lights the way at center. Oh, he does. Paul Hornung with another run, gets out of bounds, get the Seahawks first down. It's 1st and 10 as they're driving on the Vikings. Muhammad Ali takes the carry. Nate Edson, my college roommate. You're very famous. Well, Pinata back to pass. Throws a diving reception by Cecil Fielder. It's a web gem. He makes the catch, and it's a first down. Ed Sharachman gets credit for the tackle. Yes. You know, the funny thing is I got him as the same height and weight, but he looks in great shape in this version of him. It's all muscle in 63. Oh, Paul Hornung running right into Rip Hawkins, and there's an injury. Paul Hornung is injured. Well, thank God the magic wand will wave at the end of 63, so it doesn't matter how bad this injury is. He's holding his shoulder. Actually, have we talked about what's potential that what could happen by moving games if a guy is out for a long period of time and it's caught on television like this? Magic wand. Steroids. Muhammad Ali is Paul Hornung's replacement. Pinata back to pass. Well, we haven't gotten to that, how we'd handle that, because now the career-ending injuries that happen in real life, most of the time the player does not get cut from the team when it happens. So, like, for instance, Dennis Byrd with the Jets in '93. When he broke his neck and was paralyzed, the Jets did not cut him. They put him on injured reserve. So, I would say leave him with the team to the end of the season and then remove him. I mean, there's no sense of it, you know, we're changing history, with the exceptions of the players' careers are the same length. If he gets cut, well, then he's cut. Meanwhile, Muhammad Ali gets down to the 4-yard line. He floats like a butterfly and runs over the opponents like a ram. Let's see how that. Yeah, it must be. I don't know how the computer did that. I know how the Chargers accidentally are moving to London, but at least that won't follow us to the new game. But apparently by having... Yeah, they're going to abandon it. Instead, they're going to San Diego. Since we have full movement on for us, it must allow the... luckily, we haven't had any franchises move to where they're not supposed to be. But I would say, yeah. Yeah. So, 2nd and goal. Pinata back to pass. He throws into the end zone. It's intercepted by Rip Hawkins, and he is going to stay right there. So, the Seahawks leading 10-7. A second turnover. As this time, the Seahawks turn the ball over inside the red zone. Oh, God. Some of the names that Madden has on here as choices, just ridiculous. And in my old league that I was in, it doesn't matter. Every year, I played 3 years in that league, and every year this one guy would always take the Raiders and move them to Mexico City and be the Diablos. Tarkenton back to pass. He's going to take off. And Tarkenton slides down. He picks up 6. Hey, by the way, Tears, I was looking at that picture you posted of your brand new addition to your family. And, yes, looks an awful lot like a very young version of my wife's cat, Cupcake. Yeah. Cupcake's a bitch, though, so hopefully you don't get that. Okay. Yeah. Looking at the replay here of Tommy Mason picking up a first down. The Vikings are at their own 39, marching up the field. Tarkenton hands it off to Mason. Oh! Gordie Howe just cleaned Mason's clock. Tommy Mason just got upended and taken off like he was crossing the blue line. Tarkenton throwing it over to Rice. Rice makes a move. That's one of the roster fillers, if I remember. Bill Rice. These teams, just because they're showcase teams, doesn't mean we can keep the rosters perfect, and I have to switch out in and out every week. The Chargers are, because I haven't moved off them, but starting in 64, the moves that we need to have moved are done, the Chargers and Cardinals. So the 5th channel will be just for the 2 showcase teams, so I'll move back and forth between the 2 of them. And if there's a week where they're both being played against humans, I will go to a 3rd, just a dummy team. So you guys, we won't have another season where the Chargers are wearing modern uniforms every week. Elgin Baylor on the tackle, 2nd and 8. Who's got the ball? Buccaneers. Tampon Bay. 2nd down and 8 for the Vikings. Touchdown, Tommy Wilson. I didn't mean to say touchdown at that point. I was just calling him by the nickname. Picks up 7, 9 yards. The Vikings as a team are up to 100. It's 3rd down and 1. VinnyXWolf getting things done. The pass is complete to... No, they're going to say incomplete. This Vinny's take is taking forever to load. Must be because I'm also streaming a game. Saints and Raiders. The Vikings' Fred Cox is going for a 42-yard field goal to try to tie the game. Out of the hold of Vander Kellen, the kick is up. It's long. It's good. Oh no! But who else do they have? He was the backup. I'm sure I put somebody in because unless they had 3 quarterbacks. Oh yeah, right. Just because I got nobody else. He's the man. Cecil Fielder on the return. The game is tied at 10 now. Broken shoulder. Oh. Of course, that name, a tribute to the YouTube channel itself, but it's a tribute to my father. May he rest in peace, the mighty Black Wolf. That was 4th down, too. Second down and 6 as Will Height makes the catch for 4 yards. So I think for the Easter eggs starting in 64, I'll still do what I do, but each team has been assigned a theme after I'd named the Bengals and Buccaneers. So they're going to have some unknown Easter eggs. But when it comes to the teams that have the sports teams on them, it'll only be the stars. So you won't get a Will Height anymore. You'll only get the guys like Roger Maris and Gordie Howe. Chuck Lamson on the tackle. It's 3rd down and 5, and that should end the 3rd quarter. The game is tied at 10. So if the final here is 31-13, this is going to be a busy 4th quarter. Who would have expected that? Who would have expected that? Well, you did, but you didn't. Interception. Pat Pinata's intercepted by Lee Calland. He breaks a tackle and he's gone. It will be a touchdown for Minnesota. Lee Calland on the pick 6. Yeah, you and I get much easier schedules than John and Terrors do to end the season. Well, that's good. And the extra point by Cox is good. It is 17-10 Minnesota with 7:51 to go in the game. According to the stats, okay, that was Lee Calland's first pick 6 of the season. Of course, you can catch all the Vikings games on my channel through the playlist for 1963. And by the way, I discovered a mistake in that playlist today. The Week 1 game between the Bills and Patriots was not on it. It is now, both versions. So it must have been because I was busy playing that game that I forgot to put them in the playlist. But they're in it now. So, Pinata, after the interception, has got a first down at the 30. He's in the shotgun. He throws it out to Willis. And what you talking about? He's right through the Minnesota defense. And no, that's not Willis from Different Strokes. I'm just, I don't know who it is. Willis. Something Willis. Okay. Is that the only injury in that game? He's tough, man. Who's the Vikings back, or the Vikings, the Buccaneers backup? Pinata. Pinata goes deep. It's intercepted. This time it's Dylan. Oh, Gene Kelly dancing his way into the lineup. Dylan with the interception in Minnesota. Now it's 2 drives in a row they've picked off Pinata. Really? Well, that should say Georgia, but whatever. I don't care about really. If it popped up on screen, I would be more concerned about it. I know Terrors likes to make it accurate, and that's fine. I wish it would pop up on screen because it is kind of cool to see who's, you know that. Well, maybe. I mean, if it does, then we'll go through and we'll make it accurate. But it takes so long. I wish you could skip, like, all right, if you're on Auburn and you need to get to Wyoming, you can't go backwards, and you also can't skip to B to C, like in the WWE game where you can just skip through letters. Tarkenton takes off running. He's got the first down, makes a man miss. He's going to get tackled at the 39-yard line. Tarkenton has carried the ball 6 times for 46 yards on the day. Okay, the Don Cherry video is finally uploaded. First and 10, Ryan Tarkenton handing off to Mason. Mason with the big hole. He's got it for it. He's gone. Tommy Mason will go 61 yards, and Minnesota now is up 23 to 10. You know, it could. I doubt Seattle will go for a field goal. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it soon. Because if you're down 31-10, I doubt they'd go for a field goal. You know, my son's watching a video earlier. It was a very clever video. This father and his 2 look like adult kids or teenage kids built this ramp, and they're having their monster truck toys go down it, and whoever makes it all the way to the finish advances, whatever. And it's got something like 554,000 views. Like, man, what are we doing wrong that we just can't? Today I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos. And I have 7, 8, 9, 10 views. It's a good thing that I don't care, really, and we do this for our entertainment, but at some point you'd think one of these videos, especially a Vinny's take or something, is going to accidentally go viral. Maybe I need to swear a lot, like that EDP guy, the Eagles fan. Just go off and swear and call everybody motherfuckers and complain when the Bills win and lose. I'm too nice, maybe, when I do my take on the Bills game. Pinata back to pass. He throws it's complete to Fraser Crane. Fumble, and is picked up by Lee Calland, and he is going to go out of bounds. He only had Pinata to beat, and instead of trying, he went out of bounds. That would have been his second score. Niles Crane fumbled the ball. It's clear. Rip Hawkins ripped it out. That one was. And Lee Calland is all over the place. Picks it up and takes off. Tommy Mason has 126 yards on the day. He just had a 61-yard touchdown run. For the most part, last night against the Bengals, I hit a couple drives that the Bengals actually were playing well, but I dominated them. It does. Oh! Fran Tarkenton with a spin move, or a juke move that took somebody out of their jock, and it's now first and goal at the 7 for Minnesota with 5:21 to go. Minnesota's on the verge of getting 31 points. Yeah. Touchdown! Tarkenton finds the tight end. Show me who scored it. Whoa. Show a replay. Here we go. Jerry Reichow on the reception. It's 30-10 Vikings. So with here is the extra point by Cox, and the Vikings lead 31-10. All right, Seattle, get a field goal. So, did you see this news that was announced earlier? The NFL has set up an audition in Atlanta for Colin Kaepernick. I have never heard, when it was first reported, it was Kaepernick's agent set it up, but since then it's been leaked that it was actually the NFL, and I have never heard of the NFL setting up an audition for somebody. I know. Here's one. Here's news. Evidence shows soda taxes have not reduced obesity. Well, duh. But cigarette taxes have not reduced smoking. Oh, Don Cherry, on refusing to cave to political correctness, said earlier, "To keep my job, I cannot be turned into a tamed robot." I agree with it. It's the "you people" is the words that he said, which is what caused him to be fired. Pinata throws, it's complete to somebody. No, incomplete. They called it out of bounds. This game's turned into a blowout. The Raiders game's a blowout. Only the Broncos-Bucks was close. Did you see Kentucky was beat? In basketball, the #1 ranked Kentucky, they paid this school Evansville $90,000 to come to Rupp Arena to beat them. Yeah. Oh, nice diving interception. Who was it? Reeves. Nice. Oh, finally, there's a picture of who shot JR. One of my coworkers shared this on Facebook. It's a smiling picture of JR with Hillary Clinton standing behind him. That makes sense. Oh, by the way, meanwhile, Seattle is now in Minnesota territory. They're getting closer to that field goal. Yeah, I would say. It looked like he's in bounds to me. Muhammad Ali, first down to the 34. 3:42 to go. Seattle is driving. One, two, ball possession. To me, it looks like a catch. The NBC it. They called it no good. Unbelievable. This fucking game is broken. Man, I must be further behind than you guys are. Well, obviously the Terrors, but it says click on live and see what happens. Well, it says I'm live. Just maybe it's because New York is further from Texas than Phantom is. Laptop. See, my phone seems to buffer a lot lately. Third down. Oh, Pinata just throws Jim Prestel off twice and then throws it incomplete. Pinata just stood there. First of all, Prestel dives at Pinata and bounces. Gets up. Pinata then throws him to the ground. That was a case of Prestel must have had the blindfold on and was not hitting the Pinata hard enough. 4th down 11. Seattle is going to go for it instead of kick the field goal. Pinata back to pass. He's standing in there, flat-footed, like a statue. Throws to the end zone. Incomplete. Should have kicked the field goal, man. There's still 2:35 to go. Minnesota will take over. But Minnesota's been unstoppable in the second half. Tom Sanders, yeah. Ew, why did I set my 5 a.m. alarm? No. Vacation, dummy. Turn that right off. Tommy Mason. Tommy Mason has 20 carries for 129 yards and a touchdown. And one of those carries went 61, the other 19. Well, Nate is a little guy. He looks happy with himself. Clancy.
Watch him. Bill Russell does get the block initially, but then he goes out with the pass.
It was a pick route. A rub route. Oh, Mason on the give. He's going to get forward for 5. It'll be 3rd down and 3 for Minnesota. We're under 2 minutes to go, by the way. Tomorrow night on this channel, the Green Bay Packers taking on the Carolina Panthers. And Thursday night, I will have the, where am I? Did the Cardinals, Packers, did the Colts. Oh, the other showcase game, the Chargers. I think they're facing the semi-pro team as well. And then Friday night, the main event, Monday Night Football, the Bills and Jets. Might be. You see the NFL announced some flex today. They took the Packers 49ers in Week 12 will be Sunday night now. The 1 o'clock game. Eagles. Yeah. No. 26 seconds left. Pinata completes to Ali. They're on their own 17. So if they're going to get that field goal, they got to really drive in a hurry. They got 3 timeouts. 2nd and 8. Pinata back to pass. Interception. Rip Hawkins gets his 2nd interception, and that will end the game. The Vikings have 4 turnovers in the second half and 21 points. 21 points. It'll be interesting to see if they just run the clock out, 22 seconds left, or try and score. Who are they? Are they more like me, or more like the rest of Sack to the Future? Mason is pummeled by Gordie Howe, who has like 30 tackles in the game and a fumble recovery. The Seahawks have turned the ball over 5 times. And that's the end of the game. From the Bloomington, Minnesota Metropolitan Stadium, the Minnesota Vikings defeat the Seattle Seahawks 31-10. It was the 10-minute ticker on your game must have been off a little. So the Vikings get to 9-5, 21 points in the 4th quarter. That's unbelievable. Looking at the highlights here, Tarkenton. Yep. Tarkenton. Nope, 9-5. Tarkenton to Reichel for touchdown. Tarkenton to Smith early on in the game. That's Tommy Mason's big run. Lee Callen's scoop and score. No, that was a pick 6. That was a pick 6. There's Cecil Fielder getting the Seahawks touchdown. 55 passing yards to the Vikings. Tarkenton and the crew got it done on the ground with 204 yards. 5-1 in takeovers, 31-10 your final. So I'm Vinny Vincent for Phantom Fighter, Tears 89, and the rest of Sack to the Future. God bless America.